Hey, Danny. Hey, everybody.
Hi, Tyrion. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Second real day of my holiday. So yeah, it's going nice, going well. I've been
You got
chilling out.
Tyrion. You've got no kids. So every day of your life is a holiday, but you just don't know it.
I might actually have kids running around somewhere, but at least I'm not aware of it. How are
I would
you,
say
by the
that's the same thing. I would say.
right? I mean, I've been around. Things could have happened, and they haven't let me know. So yeah.
This is true.
Who knows?
This is,
One
you
day,
are you are from the Netherlands.
yeah. Maybe one day somebody will ring my doorbell. Hey, Dad, and I'm like, what? oh,
They'll have good teeth.
most likely. Jokes aside, how are you, man?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Really good. Really good.
Perfect.
Lots of people in the house. We had
Yeah,
nearly 200 people expressing interest. I thought
I was
I'd be
gonna say that.
surprised to see that many, but we're like 50 odd.
Yeah, let's give him a couple of minutes, right? As always.
Indeed.
It's different not having the camera on me right now. A bit more, I don't know, relaxed. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
have to. Yeah, I didn't
You
have
can pick your
to.
nose. You can do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
exactly. Actually, each time before I go to a YouTube stream with you guys, I take a shower. I make sure,
Really?
to. Yeah, I do.
Oh wow! I don't even put clothes on the bottom half of my body. I just put a t-shirt on.
Amazing. Yeah. I do all of that. But this time, not so much. I actually went for a little sleep on the couch earlier. Actually, just woke
Wow!
up like 10 minutes ago. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Turning into a cat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You are what you live with, right?
This is true. This is true. Bear with me 1 second. I'll be back in
Yeah,
one
no
second.
problem. No problem. Good to see 60 people in the audience already. If you know somebody who's not here yet, just yeah, make sure to notify them that the event is going on.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Alice. Welcome. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Relaxed. Having
Good.
a week off, so being able to, relax a bit more than I usually can. Because apparently, without kids, you always have a vacation.
Well, yeah, that's Danny's theory.
Yeah, and somehow I can get that because the one time that I have kids when I have the scouts on Saturday and Sunday, I have like 11 or 12 of them. So yeah, that
Wow.
period is always pretty, well, maybe not stressful, but yeah, you have to be on your A game, so to speak.
Yeah, sure. How old are the kids in Scouts?
There's two groups that I lead. One group varies between like 11 and 15, and the other group is between 16 and 18.
Cool.
And I,
Quite old.
yeah,
Who's
sorry.
Are you there, Danny?
I'm here. So we're almost 80 people here. So yeah, got pre-sale vibes here. There's probably the biggest
Mhm.
audience we've had for a long time.
True.
Yeah, lots of interesting people here as well. There's some people that I've met today. So hello to you. I can see them here. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this. To be honest, I'm super excited. Also slightly apprehensive, right? Because I think when you're you're in the position of, you know, like anybody is in a position where they have to make decisions. You know, it's you're always excited about the direction that you're going in, but you're always a little bit apprehensive because you need people to go with you as well, right? And yeah, so I had it on Saturday, obviously with sort of internal team briefing and discussions, and now I've got it with the community as well.
Yeah, let's call it like healthy. Yeah, I don't know. It's healthy that you have that. Healthy apprehension.
I had a meeting with Jesse, you know, Jesse Yeko and I speak, you know, from time to time, and actually he said to me, we were talking openly, and he actually said one of the things that he sees in project teams and leaders, he said a very healthy trait is a little bit of apprehension, a bit of fear, a bit of fear of failure, which is a really healthy trait, right? Yeah.
Agreed.
So I'm just having one of my granddad moments again. I'm just looking for the questions.
It should be under amphitheater right there.
Yeah.
Maybe that you need to unfold that folder. That happens to be all the time.
Yeah, that does happen. That does happen as well. It's quite frustrating. So there we are. Right. Yeah, sometimes you know you hide general chat, don't you? Think where's so in the questions, people pinging me. I have a million pings everywhere. I don't really respond to pings. So I'm just going to share in the I'm not going to swear because we've got a lot of special guests here today. So for once, I'm not going to swear at the community for taking the piss out of me. But I'm just going to share sort of our previous, obviously, as a recap, we had our original roadmap when we launched. You know, people that have been with MDB since the very start will remember that we moved through that roadmap super efficiently, absolutely crushed it, and then we released this interim sort of infographic back at Q4. I just want to touch on kind of the roadmap in Fireside. That isn't the roadmap. This isn't the announcement, by the way. This is just a recap what we've communicated previously, and kind of where we were. Just because I think it's really important to look back at sort of the objectives, and then we will we'll talk about what does the roadmap look like for 2023 for us, and then we've got probably quite a large topic actually to get into. First and foremost, we're going to ban any talk of any projects in the server, and you'll be banned for life, and you're not allowed to ping anybody. That's our big changes for 23. Obviously, I'm joking. People will know what I'm referring to. But so just, are you guys okay if I just summarise through sort of the last sort of interim roadmap that we released and kind of where things stand on that?
Yeah. Don't know who you're asking, but yeah.
You guys might have something else you want to say or add before I start waffling on?
No, I think there's a lot to cover, right? So
there is a lot to cover. Yeah,
we've got a hard stop on the hour as well, actually. So I've got a meeting with developers. So okay. So look. Okay. So recap. First and foremost on the roadmap, we had you know a very sort of like binary objective, which was to deliver the EMP NFT collaboration. I think very proud to have kind of led that project on behalf of EMP, and obviously we had a $1.5 million mint, which is I've never been able to verify this independently, so I'm always a bit nervous because it sounds a bit egotistical, but I think I'm told by many people that it was the largest ever NFT mint on the BSC chain. So, and I think if you look at what's gone on in the markets since the day that mint happened and sort of how difficult things have been, I think that was a huge success actually, and I don't think anybody would deny probably the positive impact that we had on that mint for EMP as a partner. expanding value-add partnerships is something that we're continuing to do. Obviously, we talked about we've got a partnership and some short-term funding help for LCP, and we've also got the partnership, a very integrated partnership actually with Apex, which has got a lot of strategic long-term objectives. And we continue actually. It's, like I said, there's someone here today. We had a meeting just this morning with another organisation, and we're talking to organisations of different levels, different scales, and about partnerships. So that just continues. Next generation of Xenia, we delivered. We delivered Xenia 2.0. We did have some glitches and some problems, nearly all of which have been resolved. We've still got APY as a weekly and an all-time as an outstanding action. But that is still there as an action. We're not forgetting about that, and actually we spoke to developers yesterday and we'll speak to them again today. The website we did push back. We said about Q4 2022 for the website. We're looking before the end of this month now. There's a lot of things that we've been putting on people and some of our resources which we use externally as well, actually, which has meant so a couple of things are slowed down, but we should be in a position where the website is done. So that's one of those sort of 4 things that I would say is just still to be completed, and everything else we've executed this plan. Accelerate synergy solutions. Quite frankly, it's been very quiet on the Gravity front. I think we've Gravity 10 projects in all. I think since we put out this roadmap, we've probably Gravity maybe 3 to 4 projects since this interim roadmap went out. Di Gennaro being the last one. It's been very, 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 very difficult. I don't know, Alice, if you just want to share some comments on maybe how it's been and your thoughts on the reasons behind that.
Yeah, this is actually something that came up in our committee meeting this month, and I think there's loads of different reasons why Gravity is more difficult to come by, I suppose, than previously. So with the market, you've obviously got less projects launching. Sorry, I've got a really noisy dog in the background. And where you've got less projects launching, you then, without being horrible, you've got less projects failing. So there is just less projects overall. I think also investors in the last year or so, which is is amazing news for DeFi as a whole, but investors have much higher expectations of teams. So I think for that reason, it's less likely that teams will take the money and run, or leave the money and still run and just leave the project in a bit of a no man's land. I think that happens less frequently because of these investor expectations that we have. And I think a lot of the pushback that we get from projects when we've had sort of discussions, we've had numerous projects where we've spent weeks and weeks and weeks going through discussions, and in the end they can't let go, whether that's they want to distribute their money themselves, which is completely their choice, or I'm really sorry if you can hear the dog, I don't know what he's doing, or they like to give themselves another chance. So if they can merge with a project, or they can get some funding from somewhere that keeps their project alive, or pivot. Well, yeah, exactly. So that's the same sort of situation. If they can see a way to try and keep their project alive, that's what they do. So there's other reasons as well, like smaller reasons, but for me, they're the main reasons why Gravity projects just aren't happening as frequently. I
think it's become, for larger projects that have attracted a lot of liquidity, people like Stable Fund, AMM DeFi, Ocean, it's almost become expected that they're going to run. And I think maybe that's also a slight wind of change as well, where the entries in a bear market can sometimes be very aggressive in terms of what it offers, and then the exits are very aggressive as well. That's one thing that I've seen.
Yeah, I do think the space has massively changed over the last year. Not just the bear market, just loads of different things, and I think they all contribute to why Gravities don't come around that frequently. Obviously, we're still always on the lookout. We're still open to suggestions. We still have like the little thank you, so like $100 or something, the little thank you payment if you successfully, refer a Gravity. But that, they're just less frequent, and I think they'll remain so. I think you will get the odd one still, of course. I think, what you might see is bigger ones less frequently would be my guess over sort of the next 6 months or so. But of course, the market can change in the blink of an eye. So who knows exactly where we'll be in 6 months? But that would be sort of my guess anyway. But that's my thoughts on why they're not as frequent as they once were.
I would definitely agree with that. I think once you as an investor in DeFi in any protocol, I think once you've realised what good looks like, you very rarely want to go with anything where it doesn't hold the same standards. And I think that's like a lot of it's weeded out some of the bad actors, let's just say, in the game. And
the bad actors play on new investors that are inexperienced quite often. There isn't many new investors.
Exactly. But well said.
So to give, I suppose, Synergy Solutions, is a number of different things. NFTX, being very blunt, I'd kind of done the grunt work with EMP to get that where it was. We had conversations with an individual who, took on some responsibility to do some business development, and quite frankly, just didn't do any effective business development. So we haven't even heard from that person for a while. So we've had a million different things going on. So it's just something that, conversations we've had, we haven't. We've had a couple of opportunities, but they haven't been interesting, quite frankly. And there's no point in us investing time and effort if it isn't especially interesting. And then, in terms of having resource to do the business development, that was just ultimately ineffective. So, but it is still part of the picture, and you'll see, when we go through the roadmap this year, it's something that when opportunities arise, we will definitely put our capabilities and energy into it. But we've definitely got bigger fish to fry. Okay. And then we talked about 2023 onwards. So again, just developing synergy solutions we've touched on already. We talked about a mature concept for a blockchain-based B2B application. This is something, I think, whenever you have any ideas, it's really important that you do your due diligence, but also you're not too emotionally attached to something. And actually, I had a concept that I've been developing that had super, super positive feedback from the market. So I know people who run manufacturers, that very senior level within sort of Fortune 500 manufacturers, and they've done market testing across a number of different people. And it was an application that would be able to link from source, so manufacturer of an item, through to the end user, and then create basically a immutable ledger that then you'd be able to leverage within an organization for sort of finished manufactured goods. It's a bit more complex than that, but ultimately the output that we got to with that concept was the business would make more sense with a private sort of distributed database model like IPS rather than blockchain because of technical limitations, and that isn't really central to what we were looking at. So we just said, no, okay, thank you. In terms of incubator program, that's very much part of the strategy, and what we're doing over the next 4 or 5 months will present more opportunities, and we've already started a couple of applications and a couple of conversations on that front. And like I say, the things that we'll be doing over the next few months are just going to accelerate that naturally. The Monday Club, which we shared, was an ETF for MDB. We'll touch on in a minute. And we will look to launch MDB AI in Q1. Which we will be tight because we want to run the proof of concept, and the proof of concept has been delayed. We'll talk about MDB AI in a second because we'll talk about the roadmap going forward. Okay. Any questions sort of on? I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on the past, but if you got any questions that are really pressing that you want to ask before we sort of close off that section and focus on what we're doing going forward, now is the time to ask the question.
I'm looking in the AMA questions. I haven't seen anything pop up yet. Let's give them a few seconds, maybe. Start the roadmap. Everybody is rightfully so very excited.
So bear with me 2 seconds. So in true style, I just want to check. Bear with me a second. Okay. I'm just going to do a quick. I'm going to do as I have done previously. I'll just share some clips and then just talk through the different sections. And we've got, so our roadmap, maybe let me step back for a second, actually. So what is 2023, what is the roadmap all about for MDB? Some of our objectives, which we already started, obviously one thing that wasn't on the roadmap was the restructure, which we've completed. And obviously we launched a new staking pool, we restructured Infinity into MDB. I think it's needless to say that most people, certainly if you were staking within Infinity and you grandfathered across the new staking pool, then you're a very happy camper at the moment. So I think all in all, whilst it was a difficult time, thank you to the people that whilst we were dealing with FUD and some deserved frustration, because change is always going to bring that. At the same time, many people are also really supportive of us, so I appreciate that. But at the same time, people are okay to criticise as well. That's not an issue. But we did achieve that. We have executed it, and moving into 2023, we'll continue in that vein. So we're looking for simplification of the MDB model, and I think what we've done has been a huge success. Right, when we started in April, a week before Terra Luna, we had 1.5 million in the trust fund. We had $300,000 in liquidity. Today we have somewhere in the region of about $800,000 in liquidity. That, not including the native side, that's purely the backing, and we have about $3.1 million in the trust fund. And which means that actually our mathematical equivalent of pre-sale is around 0.007. Remember, or maybe 0.0065. And remember, we pre-sold at 0.0025. So that's just the fundamentals of the protocol. And obviously, we've burned 200 million tokens during that process as well. So where we are is super healthy, right? I don't think we have anything that's broken that needs specifically fixing. But we are also super ambitious. And if we can get to a place where we have a trust fund that's 15, 20, 25, $30 million, and we can get our supply down to 300 million tokens quicker, then I'm very ambitious, and I'm very keen to see us do that. And that ultimately is really what 2023 is about. It's not a hugely loaded roadmap, but it is an extremely ambitious roadmap, and very, very aggressive. Some people might not like it. Some people might like the status quo and to keep things ticking along as they have done for the last 8 months. I'm not like that. As an individual, and just as a person and as a leader of the project, I'm not somebody that's ever going to be comfortable just ticking along. So without further ado, I will start to share with you some information.
Sidian, do we have any elevator music?
Elevator music. Yeah, hang on, let me get it.
So the first part of the roadmap, to be fair, you think we tease into this, but it starts off pretty aggressive. So the first part of the roadmap, I'll verbalize this and then I'll drop an image into the AMA questions chat. So MDB AI, our ambition is that we will be able to mint MDB AI next week. So you see the image, it says week commencing 16th January. We had productive meetings yesterday. I'm very confident that we should be in a position where we have the smart contract mint page all done within the next 24, 48 hours. And so we're saying next week to give ourselves, ourselves and people a bit of time. If you need a bit of a reminder, MDB AI is actually a very simplistic model. It's a model where you can purchase an NFT, those funds, and there's basically an aggregator of different trading providers that go through our due diligence process. But there is also a stable liquidity pool enabling you to liquidate your NFT at any time if you so wish. And it's part compound, part payout from the NFT. So ultimately, you should be in a position where NFT is increasing in value over time, as well as it being 100% liquid at any point in time for the holder, and also being much lower risk than a single the kids are really distracting than a much lower risk than sort of a single trading bottle provider. Website V3 I've talked about already, so we'll move on from that. We will also establish the investment council this month. We have two very interesting investment opportunities that I want to put before the investment council. There will be a requirement in that. We can't. We will want, for instance, people to be known to us, to be on the investment council, and that's just logical, right? Somebody can say that they've run multi-billion-dollar organizations, but maybe actually their career is shit talking on Discord, and we need to know who the people are on the investment council if we're going to take their input seriously, which I'm sure is sort of like understandable. So we'll put out a note for formal applications to the investment council, looking for 3 or 4 experienced people in terms of investment and business, and they're people that we can use as a sounding board when we see opportunities that maybe have more complexity, or we just want further opinion on those opportunities. So we'll establish that this month. So the fourth big one is in January, MDB will support the brand launch, and I say support because the brand launch, the ambition for this organisation is that the brand launch and awareness, certainly at the launch of that organisation, probably be 10 to 100 times greater than what it is for MDB at this moment in time. And what we will be supporting, both financially, organisationally, and from a leadership perspective, because I will be setting up and running the organisation, is basically a new organisation. We're building a peer-to-peer trading platform with unique characteristics that just have never been seen in the market, which offers the opportunity to access a market that's worth around $25 trillion a year. So I've got some Q&A already pre-prepared, actually, so that anyone who knows the project and knows me knows that I like to go into these things with a little bit of direction and structure, so we answer the big questions. So I've prepared sort of a Q&A on this topic, and I think maybe it'd be a good idea for me to maybe run through the Q&A, sort of, and I don't know, what do you think? Have you got any thoughts, Alice? Do you think that's a good direction to go? Because I know you had some feelings earlier.
Yeah, I think you've obviously not given enough information yet for people to really have questions. So I would just run through it, maybe every few questions, stop and give people an opportunity.
Question. Okay, brilliant. Okay, if you guys can share and make questions, because I need to be on a different screen to go through the document. So we will also release this this sort of Q&A and answers afterwards. We will. So we'll share that afterwards. But just to run through it. So I suppose first question on the Q&A, peer-to-peer trading platform with huge reach. Is MDB building this? Answer is no. MDB is contributing financially from a leadership perspective and also from a partnership perspective. This question is, why are we doing this? Ultimately, this is the opportunity in 2023 for a game changer for us as a protocol that not only disrupts crypto, also has the power to disrupt established markets that are worth around $25 trillion per annum at the moment, actually, even within the bear market, albeit of that 25 trillion market, I say only around 12 trillion of that is actually crypto. So what is this organization and who's running it? So I'm the founder of this organization, and I'll be the CEO of this business, and MDB will be the initial investor in this organization and the largest beneficiary, and I'll get into that in a second. just conscious because I know that if I stop and say, have you got any questions on what I've said, people are probably going to ask questions that we're getting to. But I also don't want to download too much information without pausing and letting people ask questions. So I'll just cover one more point. So how does this platform work? And what does the time frame look like? So this platform will launch in June of this year. More details will be released on the platform on the 20th of January. That will be the brand launch of the platform. The on-site launch of the platform, so our first exhibition will be at the end of February in London, which is an agreement that we've already entered into. But on the 20th of January will be when the platform's socials, brand, and path to launch will be released to the public. Now, I suppose the culture and feel of this organisation will be very different to MDB, because MDB is centred around community, where this is a platform, right? If you go into Deck Screeners Discord, or if you go into Pancake Swaps Discord, it's like a library. There's not giveaways and community focus. So this is about building something where the community are going to go over there. This is about setting up the socials that ultimately are a place where people can receive information, can follow, can engage with the organisation in the future. But we're not sort of like building anything that's going to distract from what we're doing day to day in MDB. There's also, just to assure you, what we're bringing to the market is a completely unique offer with extremely broad appeal. So it's actually a peer-to-peer decentralized trading platform. On the 20th of January, there'll be more details released, and it will become a little clearer exactly how that works. But it's something that is, something that just doesn't exist in the form that this will in the market today. Okay, and ultimately it'll be there to disrupt centralized exchanges, central exchanges, and also traditional retail as well, that look at forex, commodities, and also your retail platforms like eToro, Robinhood, IG, and so on. Okay, so the next question is, what does MDB get out of this? But before I get into that, which probably that's maybe what the most of what people want to know, is there any sort of questions now just on the points that have already been covered?
Amsal has, of course, asked some questions. I've got 3 from him. The first one being, what's the level of financial investment in the peer-to-peer platform? Okay. Second one, are there any other partners involved with the P2P platform? The third one, how does the peer-to-peer platform generate revenue for MDB?
We'll get on to that.
Yeah.
All very fine. Yeah, I suppose they're all questions that you would expect to be asked, but and also what you would expect Emsol to ask, actually, because he's very studious. Yeah. Was there any other questions that are sort of maybe more backwards looking on the points that have been covered so far?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay, so what does MDB get out of this? The big question that everybody wants to know the answer to. So the platform that's being built, MDB will be the seed investor, the first investor, and also the largest beneficiary of the fees that the platform generates. And just to explain, so the plan is that MDB would receive up to, saying up to is a bit of a disclaimer, but the target is 10 million. The MDB would receive $10 million actually at launch price in native tokens from this platform, and that would earn MDB 25% of all of the trading fees from the platform as well. So the platform generates trading fees, more volume, more fees, and those native tokens can be staked to earn fees. So the launch price, the plan is that MDB receives a return of $10 million at launch price, and will be earning 25% of all of the platform trading fees. I can't see the AMA questions, so it's a bit like, I feel like I'm kind of talking to a wall a little bit because it's very quiet. there much going
Yeah.
on in there, guys?
Yeah, as always, lots and lots of gifts.
I think most people's jaws. I think most people's jaws are still on the floor, and the fingers
Yeah.
are a little bit numb from trying to digest that information. To be fair, so go and
Yeah.
keep the tickets golden, Danny.
Quavina has a question. The seed round for MDB investors. I think you can answer that.
I will get to that.
Okay, so that will be answered later. And that's the general thing. Can the community invest is like the big question right now.
What about me?
Yeah, exactly.
We will get to that. We would never come into a communication like this without an answer to that question. So, okay, let me carry on then. So, so MDB's end of the deal is, $10 million worth of native tokens that launch 25% of platform fees. Very ambitious targets. So, we took the guys through this, and we'll talk a little bit in terms of how that's going to be delivered. But we're targeting in the first 6 months. Our goal is by the end of 6 months that the platform is delivering $1 million in fees per day. That's our goal. That's what we're aiming for. But the range, in the first 6 months is $250,000 to $1 million in fees in the first 6 months. And obviously our goal is, into the stratosphere long term. But, it is to give ourselves a very ambitious target is for the platform to deliver $1 million per day in fees in the first 6 months. Okay. What does this mean in terms of exposure? So the platform by launch aims to build an affiliate network of over 250 influencers plus 50 project affiliates. Sorry, that's in the first 6 months. In the run-up to launch, MDB will also benefit from global roadshow. So we will be attending 7 exhibitions across the world between now and the launch of the platform in June. 4 of them will be sponsored events. And I will be speaking actually at all 4 of the sponsored events as well. We've already confirmed 3 of the 4 sponsored events. So London, Dubai, and Istanbul. We will be a diamond sponsor actually, which is 1 level below the title sponsor, which I think OKX, which is a huge platform, is the title sponsor of the event. And so we will be one of a few diamond sponsors of the event, and there will be exposure there for obviously the platform is coming out of the platform's budget, but there is also exposure there for MDB during that event, and I will be talking on the same stage as people like BitBoy Crypto. He's already confirmed. I think Michael Taylor is confirmed also for the Dubai event as well. I'll also be talking at that event. So I'll be sharing the stage with some pretty big characters. And obviously we'll have the opportunity to meet these people at the VIP events that we get access to because of our sponsorship packages as well. And just specifically in London, if anyone's interested, then I'll be speaking about the merits of a future of decentralized peer-to-peer trading versus the pitfalls of centralized trading that we've seen in the last 12 months. Okay, further exposure. So MDB will receive preferential exposure opportunities on the platform. We talked about fees, like crude numbers. The goal is that there is 250,000 individual users by the end of 2023 on that platform. And there's a number of different ways that you can create exposure, which also generates marketing opportunities. And MDB will obviously have preferential exposure as a significant shareholder. The platform's native token will also be listed at launch on several centralized exchanges. And so, again, instant exposure. Okay. So I'm getting to what does that mean for you? But I'm sure first and foremost, you're most interested in what's the end of this for MDB. So what is this token? So the trading platform will have a native token with 1 simple utility. Stake that token to earn a share of the platform fees in stable assets. It's as simple as that, really simple model. The token won't have any taxes, removing any barriers to central exchange listings, and we've already got discussions underway with several of the top 20 platforms. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Next question is a little bit controversial that I've written to sort of prompt it, and I wrote, so another pre-sale or token launch. It's a hard no. MDB is a private investor in this and also the largest beneficiary. The token of the platform, the native token, will not be available through typical pre-sale. Supply hitting the market at launch will be almost zero, actually, because all pre-sale will be to VCs or significant private investors, and every single token allocated will have a strict vesting period, which will be linear vesting over 12 months, actually. We will not be holding them. We'll not be asking MDB holders for investment. Okay.
Yeah, the chat is going ballistic with lots of stuff.
The next question: well, what if MDB holders want to invest? So this is the what about me? As part of this deal, MDB, and this includes Infinity Yacht Club and Phoenix Fire Club holders, will be given the opportunity to exchange MDB tokens for the native platform tokens. All pre-sale, still, it would be treated exactly the same as anything, all the rest of the pre-sale, so it would be vested over 12 months. So for everybody, so it's only for serious investors or people that are taking a long-term view on a platform where a token earns a share of the fees. This will naturally be concentrated towards our larger/longer-term holders as a priority, but the ambition is that all VIPs and Millionaires Club members will have an opportunity. So we'll communicate full details on the process. I can confirm that we'll have a maximum number of tokens allowed for transfer. So think of it as a token transfer rather than a pre-sale. The maximum allocation will be 300 million MDB tokens, of which nearly all will be burned from supply. And we've already set a rate of 3 cents per MDB token. If somebody on the open market is interested in trying to acquire the native tokens from the platform on pre-sale, there is only one way they would be able to do that, and that would be to invest in MDB. There is no other way other than for VCs and private investors. Any thoughts, feedback, questions on those sections? That was a lot of information around what does it mean for MDB as a protocol, and what it means for what opportunities lie ahead for MDB investors as well.
Ozzy's asked a question, which I think is quite a good one. Can we just keep MDB? So just maybe just clarify on that.
Of course.
I think what might be useful, let me know what you guys think, but because it's such a big thing to drop, maybe we create a dedicated channel for questions, and then maybe in a few days' time or whenever, we'll round them all up and try to kind of figure out which are the most poignant, so we can address, because there'll probably be loads of questions that may not all get answered, and rather than pollute every channel, we'll maybe create a dedicated one for people to keep dropping in questions, and then we'll maybe figure it out as we go along a little bit.
Yeah, and look, the plan will be that we can set up a channel that would get live updates from the platform leading up to the launch of the platform, because as a group of individuals, all of us have the greatest interest collectively than any other group on the progress and success of the platform. Anything else before there's still more?
No. Do you want to carry on?
So touching on one of the points that MSOL raised, so what's the financial investment? So we put a cap on this. So MDB's protocol investment will be capped at $1 million. It will absolutely be no more. A significantly larger sum is being raised from VCs and private investors. Okay. How does this affect the team and the organisation? Just to touch on the previous point as well, MDB's position is many multiples of the position of the VCs and private investors as well. So there is a disproportionate advantage for MDB as a protocol over other investors as the seed investor. How does this affect the team and the organisation? So the platform So this is the platform. This isn't MDB. MDB is just MDB, right? This is a partnership and also an investment from the protocol. The platform that we're talking about, which the brand will be launched on the 20th of January. The platform will make a number of strategic hires in the coming weeks, which would include a chief financial officer, of which an individual actually we've already agreed terms with, and they'll be the first actually senior hire for that platform, other than the technical advisors that are already on board. And that individual has been through a number of VC rounds and raises, works as a consultant across a number of different crypto projects, and also works for an organization that manages 1.6 billion in assets today. So someone extremely experienced and has walked this path many times, and they'll be joining. There'll also be a new CTO / technical lead, depending on sort of the scale and scope of that role. An in-house legal counsel for the first 6 months at least, strategic advisor, affiliate director, plus a number of operational business development and marketing roles. We will list the roles that are being filled on the Edge website when that gets pushed live. So if anybody within the community, we're not. If I always say, if you start a question around a position with "Hey bro," then it's not for you. Okay, we're just the platform will be hiring people that are very experienced, that walk the path, that can that have been in and around, like the strategic advisor. The scope is for somebody who's been in and around multiple raises, has worked for central exchanges, acts as an advisor on advisory boards and incubator in accelerator projects. But they're the type of people we're looking for, and we have a number of great candidates already for a number of the roles. They're filling up very fast, but we will share them as well. So if people are looking for career opportunities, then they'll see, they will be able to find those as well. Okay. So whilst there's synergies and opportunities for MDB, and there is also synergies for MDB team members, which we can have that conversation. What we want to make sure that we don't do is, I'm never going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. This is about creating 100 to 1,000x for MDB in 2023. This isn't about new shiny ball, go and look at something else. So we'll continue to run efficiently and productively as an organisation. This doesn't affect MDB from a day-to-day basis. The platform will have its. Sorry, Con. Siri?
Yeah. Did you have some time for questions, or do you want to
just to finish? So the platform will have its
Okay.
own brand, socials, and business structure. It's separate from MDB as an organisation. MDB will, of course, receive regular progress updates and cross-pollination for the benefit of both organisations, naturally. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Good questions.
Yeah, good question by Note Flanders, because of course that the focus might be shifting to that new thing. How will this make the MDB price increase?
I'm happy for other people to answer that.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, people are sort of answering as we go along in the chat. But so there's a few ways that it benefits MDB. So looking at like sort of the bigger picture than just price. So firstly, the majority of all the tokens that get swapped for the new platform, for those that wish to invest into the new platform, get burnt. So that takes huge amount out of circulation straight away. And then you're going to have the revenue that it generates, with MDB being the biggest sort of beneficiary. So that goes into the trust fund, that then obviously goes back into buying and burning and investments and driving up value of the trust fund, which obviously helps to massively increase the value of MDB as a whole, the project. And I've lost my train of thought now. And yeah, so people can get it at a much better rate. So at the moment, MDB is about a cent. Danny did say, I don't know if you heard it, that the conversion rate for the seed round of the new the peer-to-peer trading, that will be at a price of 0.3, so 3 times the current price. So people want to get into the new one. They can buy MDB now and get a huge discount when they swap it, because it's a cent now, and the strike price for sort of switching over will be 3 cents.
But ultimately, where we want to be is that the trust fund or the protocol is receiving $250,000 a day. And that's our goal. And we set ourselves a target. That's what we want to achieve: $1 million a day in fees for the platform, which for MDB means $250,000 a day. The goal also, and I've talked about the new staking pool. The goal will be that the platform fees are split 1/3 into the new staking pool and farming pools. That will have a disproportionate impact on farming pools over the staking pool, actually, because the staking pool TVA is very high. It's, we're getting close to $3 million in the staking pool, whereas the farms are much smaller. So the fact that they will receive equal amounts of that those fees would mean that actually it'll have a disproportionate impact on farming, but it'll still be super interesting for the staking pool, and also there'll be obviously naturally, if you've got those sorts of capital flows into the project from our investment, then the impact on token price and then movement in and out of that pool starts to become significant, and therefore the APY has the potential to go absolutely berserk. And then 2/3 would be fed directly into the trust fund. So that's kind of where the rewards pools fit into the picture as well.
All right. A question by MSol. Will we be able to burn NFTs to get the platform tokens?
Yeah, I think we have to. I think the mechanics of it is to be decided. It could be burning. If we think about, they're two very different asset classes. I think there's a question there. You could say, okay, with 250 Phoenix Fire Clubs, they want to chop them in, then burn half of them, and then it doubles the value of the others. Well, in truth, if we deliver what we want to deliver, and MDB has hundreds of thousands of dollars inbound a day, then in truth, I think we probably want to be in a position where the protocol holds on to those Phoenix Fire Club NFTs and probably is able to benefit from the tokens that are locked in the contract. So it's to be decided. I think whether we burn or whether it gets whether the protocol holds on to some or all is to be decided.
All right. Just to clarify, you will be the CEO of this new platform, right?
Right.
Correct. Okay. So I haven't scrolled down yet because these were the questions I had my screen on. So I have 72 messages to keep to go through. Quickly scan. Yeah, revenue will go to the trust fund. Okay, some more MSol questions. Let's see what they are. Do you have a target amount for this seed round funding?
That's confidential.
Okay. Yeah, those two questions we just went through already.
I'm sure MSO understands why that's confidential, because it's we're not running that process transparently, because it has to be managed in a confidential way.
Of course.
It'll be significant.
Okay, it doesn't look like I've come across many other questions, to be honest. Yeah, like name of the new token, yada yada. Yeah, it's confidential.
Okay. I've got the rest of the roadmap to drop into
Yeah.
the chat. We've got 6 minutes. So just one kind of last question. Like I say, Alice will prepare and share in an announcement. But one last question up there. And there's always some people you think of when you think of these questions. So I thought it was funny, actually, because Ozzy, you saying, well, what if I just want to stay in MDB? This isn't about an alternative to MDB. This is an investment by MDB in something that and ultimately, it has the potential to be life-changing for everybody. That's the goal. Otherwise, what's the point? And that's my view, and that's my approach to things. The question is, isn't this a risk? Yeah, MDB is working. Isn't this a risk that we could do without? My answer to that would be, of course, it's a risk. 90% of startups fail in the first year. Okay, but we as a team have never been in the business of running with the pack. If you look at what's happened over the last 8 months, we always beat the odds. MDB is always beating the odds in the market, and we'll continue to beat the odds that are in front of it. So yes, it's a risk, but there are fundamental differences between the 90% that fail and the 10% that succeed. And we're not in the business of being in the 90% if we can help it.
Well said.
I'm just going to drop. Let me come to the community stage. We've got 4 minutes. I feel like I've just been sandblasted.
Oh my God, time has gone so fast. That's crazy.
What are you doing, Danny? Oh, he's gone.
He's gone. I only just noticed. Yeah.
He's got his hand up to speak. You can just bring yourself up because you're very There you go. What happened there?
Very strange. It froze, and when I came back, it said that I don't have permission to speak in the channel. So I thought, wow, tough crowd. Cut my permission straight away. I was just going to share, just share this image. So just to run through, because we've got 3 minutes. And I don't. If you guys want to stay on and have a conversation, answer some questions, obviously you guys internally have had a view of what's going on, then feel free to. I do need to jump into a meeting in a couple of minutes. You'll see here. So February 23, we begin our joint roadshow with the sister organisation. We'll be exhibiting, like I said, London, Dubai, Istanbul, Austin, Texas, and we're also visiting Zurich, Hamburg, Barcelona, potentially Paris as well. That isn't on the list, but something that we're looking at. The a few people in Hamburg going wild in May to June for MDB. So we will launch the MDB ETF, which will be a mix of auto stake, auto farm, and also token holding the take profit option in our stable backed assets. In that period as well, when there will be the opportunity for people that so wish, no pressure at all, by the way, to do so. But if people so wish, and they like what they see, then there will be an opportunity for MDB holders. Obviously, a significant upside, and obviously, the goal is that with this investment partnership, whatever you want to call it, that the trading platform launched at the end of June, and that will instantly initiate a daily significant revenue stream for MDB.
Well, anything else in your final minute before you've got to run?
Not from me. That is the lot. Did that meet? Is it big enough? Is it ambitious enough? I won't ask if people are happy because that's a big one.
I don't know if we should maybe do a follow-up session on this later in the week, perhaps, just because there will probably be some questions.
There's a few erections out there. That's always encouraging. Rabina's not sure. I think just to summarise, it's an extremely low risk play actually for MDB versus the potential upside. Like everything that we do, right? We're always looking for huge upside, and so sometimes we said 9 Day Pool will play a high role in the 2023 roadmap, but we haven't heard about that yet. I think I did talk about that. Okay, all right. Lots of questions coming through. Questions that I can't answer now because I need to jump into another meeting. But remember, this is MDB, right? And there'll be access to a channel, and information will be shared in there. And obviously, over the next few months, it's going to be quite a ride as we go through, a very different experience to what we've done over the last 12 months, and ultimately we deliver an outcome which our goal is to deliver something that is just a complete game changer for the protocol, and accelerates the pace of things significantly.
Cool. I'll try and answer any questions I can in the chat. I'll probably just type back to you guys though. Obviously nothing too technical. Just a reminder, people are asking for quite detailed information. There will be a proper brand launch. There'll be loads of information. There'll be a marketing campaign. You'll be able to learn everything you want to know. Just need a little patience. We can't reveal.
And that base isn't MDB either. MDB is about, MDB. That will come from that organisation in time. This isn't a shot in the sky. We think we could do this. It's not a concept. This is something that we've been working through for months.
Cool.
All right.
Well, there we go.
Good stuff. All right. Take care.
Right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.